BookTube, it's Louise, the big head bookworm. Lovely to see you. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day wherever it is you are and whatever it is you're doing. Hello, hello. Welcome back to my little part of the internet. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day. I'm going to say right up front, I'm waiting for a phone call. I'm waiting for a phone call from the doctors. Nothing urgent, nothing bad. Got something just come up. Close you. And so I'm basically spending the day, after managing to get through to the doctors, waiting for the doctors. So I waited to get answered, got answered, spoke to whoever at the end of the telephone, said, yes, a doctor will phone you back. 2.5 hours later, I got a text message saying, yeah, a doctor's going to phone you back. And that was an hour and 40 minutes ago. And I'm basically waiting. And the husband said, well, we could go and do this, or you could go and do that. And I can't, because I'm just waiting. I'm now just in a stage of waiting. Have you ever had that? I'm sure you have. I cannot be the only person that is just... I mean, the husband's had it as well. They say, right, we'll phone you back. And it's like... well, I can't do anything, because I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that to happen. I keep thinking to myself, we could go and do that, because that's something you can do while your phone's next to you. And I have my phone next to me at all times. I'm like that. I'm waiting, basically. And I've got 2 things I need to do this afternoon, and so I don't want it to phone when I'm doing either of those 2 things, and I don't want to have to go and see the doctor during either of those 2 things. Do you want to wait with me? No, you don't. You don't want me to wait. You want me to talk about books. You want me to talk about books? Yeah. Let's talk about books, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that we read. Let's talk about books. Let's talk about books. So, you made me laugh. You made me laugh last week with all the comments about the Twyford Code by... what's her name? Janice Hallett. There we are. I've got the appeal down there so I can see that. So the Twyford Code is the second book by Janice Hallett that a lot of people seem to have picked up because of enjoying the appeal. And some of your comments really made me laugh. Oh, they really did. There was one in particular that really made me laugh out loud. And I don't laugh out loud to things. So, about, like, kind of if I go and see a comedian, I laugh out loud. Or if I go to see a good pantomime, I laugh out loud. But when I'm reading stuff, I can be very po-faced. And it made me chortle. It made me chortle. And I have chortled ever since about it. I think me and the Twyford Code are going to part companies. It sounds like everybody thought it was rubbish too. So I've not had a single person say, actually it does get better. Everybody just basically said it's rubbish. So... I will not be reading that. That's going to go and live in another house to then go to another charity shop. I reckon it's one of those that we're going to see in charity shops a lot. However, charity shops. I have been looking in charity shops for my Ellie Griffiths, who I just realised I have actually started listening to. Well, I've downloaded a podcast by her. Let me just look up the name of it. What's it called? It's a podcast about writing. Is it about writing crime? I think so. I think that's why. The Plot Thickens with Ellie Griffiths. So The Plot Thickens is the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of crime writing. Best-selling author Ellie Griffiths. So how about that? So I actually, so I've downloaded episode 1, which says Where It All Began. Came out October last year. So there aren't that many episodes out there at the moment. Yeah. So I've actually, how bizarre is that I'd actually downloaded that before I got the book. So I shall be listening to that and read, and quite a few people said to me, instead of trying to buy it from charity shops. Why not go to the library and order it in the library? And that is a good idea. So if I get chance, I don't think it's open this afternoon, the library. Or yes, it is open. Hi. Maybe I'll nip into the library if I have to go into. Well, I have to go into town anyway, so I might nip into the library and see whether they've got the first one, and I could read that. Hello, gorgeous boy. I've got a cat now with me. The cat is now with me, aren't you? It's Indy. Can I get? Oh, this is not. This is awkward. No, he's there. He's just believe me. The fact that I have now got a cat with me. If I lean over, I've always. If you're with my yarn chat on Sunday, you know that I regularly get cats. I had Miss Molly was the visitor. Hello. Oh, I'm gonna have to show everybody how handsome you're looking. There he is. There we go. This is Indy. Indy Pussycat. Staring intently at me. Yeah, good boy. So yeah, wherever I am, wherever I go, I have a cat with me. Yes, so I've been going in, so that is true, and I am going to look at doing that. However, I quite like the challenge of going and buying, trying to find the books in the charity shops as well. So I'm going to do both, I think. But I quite like that, kind of having a focus, having a challenge, gives you something to look at. Yeah, anyway. So I went to a charity shop. I didn't find any Ellie Griffiths, but I did find The 7 Ages of Death by Dr. Richard Shepherd and Unnatural Causes, from the author of Unnatural Causes. I have read Unnatural Causes and enjoyed it. In each of his 23,000 postmortems, Dr. Richard Shepherd, our foremost medical detective, has uncovered the secrets of not only how people died, but how they lived. So he is a forensic pathologist, and he completed his postgraduate training as a forensic pathologist in 1987. So this is his second book. I put it on my wish list when it was a hardback to remind me to get it. So I was so pleased when I saw this, and it was completely unread. Somebody's obviously been given it and then thought, oh, that's not the book for me. I've started reading it. I'm on the second section. It's in 7 sections, as in 7 ages. And the first section was quite hard going because it was about babies. And it was about investigating the deaths of babies and looking at, and it was talking about the kind of the miracle of how, the body starts and how amazing the body is, and how resilient it is, but also how many different things can go wrong with conception and pregnancy and birth. And it was very interesting for that. However, it is quite brutal, and it was quite a, that's quite a, a difficult start to the book. But I am interested in it because I find it fascinating. That's the bookmark I'm using, which is by the novel Menagerie. It's a lovely bookmark. Bees, I love bees. So I'm on the second section, about page 60 of that. So I shall be reading my way through this. And this is the other one I picked up, and it's called The Red Knight by Miles Cameron. This is for real. This is bloody dirty work. And it is a fantasy. It's a junky fantasy. This came out 2011, 2012. I seem to remember it was self-published or quietly published. I think it might have been self-published and then was picked up. Picked up by, this is Galance. Because if I remember rightly, I kept seeing it on booktubers, those booktubers that read a lot of fantasy fiction, and they had been contacted by the author and they had copies sent to them, and they were kind of one or two of them really got into it, and so would promote his books I do remember that. This is the first in the series, I believe. I think it is a series. If it's what I remember, it is a series. I haven't looked it up, but yeah. So it's a fantasy book. I remember thinking at the time I would like to read that. So when I saw it, I thought I shall pick that up. So both of these were 50p each, which means all of that reading for £1. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Neither had been read either. This is completely untouched. Look at that. That is an untouched book. And it was 50p. So at some point in my future, I shall read that. That's not a now. I'm not in the mood for reading this right now, but I am going to be in the mood for reading this at some point. This is a right now book, so I'm reading that. What did I read this week? Well, I picked up a couple of Mills and Boon. Yeah, I picked up a couple of Mills and Boon. I picked up Helen. Oh, I'm going to have to go through the name Payne again. Mills and Boon presents Helen. I can't even pronounce the surname. I can't even go there. It's Bianchin. Bianchin. That's what I'm going to go for. Helen Bianchin, Mistress by arrangement. And she's in that lovely green dress and has been swept off her feet. And then it is Robyn Donald, the Paternity Fair. It's the couple in all white. It's the all white couple. They're all white. So those are the two that I read. That one was better by miles. I found that quite a good book. It was quite fun. Neither would I say were particularly fabulous. I mean, neither would I say rush out and buy. And I may be talking spoilers here, so if you've actually got copies of these, that would be weird. That would be amazing if you've actually got these on your shelf to read. But this one, so Mistress by arrangement, it was fun and good, and I enjoyed it. There's a bit of stalking, not by him. He kind of is more kind of hero. There is a bad one, draws them together. She's got a bit of spirit about her, a bit feisty. I liked her. He was quite, I must admit, he was quite two-dimensional as a character. That probably doesn't surprise you. She had a bit more going about her. I liked it. It was a good one. It was a good one, that one. They did do a plot line in here of him seeing her. It's set in Australia on the Gold Coast, and that wealthy family. She obviously went to the Sorbonne in France, in Paris, and there was this kind of plot point of how he had seen her at a party when she was studying at the Sorbonne, which they kind of Helen obviously decided, no, I won't bother with that plot point, so it kind of faded. That was quite fun. I quite liked the fact that there was a plot point that just suddenly she just thought, nobody's interested in that. And so you could almost see the thinking happening at that point. So I enjoyed that. That was quite fun. But yeah, that was a good book. I read that in a merry afternoon. This was also a merry afternoon's reading. Actually, more of a morning read, I think, this one. Robyn Donald, the Paternity Fair. Spoilers on this one. Didn't like him as much. So they have a night of passion when she's 18. He's a bit older. Not much older. It's not kind of shocking. It's just he's a bit older. They have a night of passion, and then she gets, unfortunately, as I say, spoilers, she gets raped, but they don't dwell on it. But it is mentioned, but they don't dwell on it. 2 weeks later, and then she finds out she's pregnant. So she's like, it's the way that, because she had a period after they'd done the whatevers. And then she got raped, and then she got pregnant, and so he'd disappeared because his dad was poorly, and he said, my dad's poorly, I'm going. And so she's like, oh, and she basically left her life a little bit and kind of chose to kind of walk away from everything and have this have her son and bring him up on her own. But she was very young, and then does he spot her somewhere, or does he get told about her? Because the person who raped her was his cousin. So there's this whole thing I can't remember whether he was told about it. Anyway, she says he's very much like, it's my son, and he's like looking at us like it's my son, and he can see family resemblance, and she doesn't want to kind of say, yeah, it was your filthy cousin that did this, and she goes, no, you're not the dad, and he's like, I'm the dad, and she's like, no, you're not the dad, and she even tells him why he's not the dad, and he doesn't believe her, and that really irritated me. Because he kind of honors the fact that obviously she went through a traumatic experience, and he's like, why didn't you come and tell me about it? And she's like, because I was going through a whole lot of stuff, because I had just been, traumatic experience, and I was not in the headspace to discuss this, and didn't know, and was also, and she didn't tell him he was the cousin at the time, and she's like, because all of this, and he's like, but I'd have supported you, I would have still brought up, this child. And she's like, yeah, but I wasn't there. And he just didn't believe her. And you don't find out about that until the end. She goes, you didn't believe me, did you? And he's like, no, I didn't. And I thought, no, not happy with him. So I went off him, and he was quite presumptive. Yeah. So if I was you and you've got this, give it a bit of a miss. That one, good fun. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, I still read it because how many pages is a Mills and Boon? They're great. 180 pages. Sit down, quick read, done and dusted, sorted. Yeah, there we go. So I've read a couple of books, and then I've started this one. I probably will read a couple of more Mills and Boon this week. We've got the Coronation of the King, our new King Charles, on Saturday. I'm going to say it, even though I think I'm boring everybody else as much as I'm boring myself. I am actually working on Saturday. And the thing is, it slightly annoyed me because I'm quite a royalist. Am I a royalist? I think I was way more of a royalist than I realised, because when Her Majesty died last year, it really, I was really upset. I really was upset. I think she's been such a kind of, she's kind of part of the fabric of our life, and it absolutely, I really got upset, as did the husband, last year. And I think it's connected with my family. My mum and dad were royalists, especially my mum. And my mum really kind of connected, really felt something about the Queen, and they went through things at the similar time in their lives. So she got married at around the time that the Queen got married, and she had children at the same time as the Queen had children. So I think she felt like she was connected in some way. And so when the Queen died, it was connected to losing my mum as well. So there's that. So the King, I don't feel like that, and whether or not it's because he's a new king, I don't know, but I don't feel like that. The country itself is really divided about how much they're celebrating it. There are some celebrations going on at work. We can design a crown. If you want to design a crown and wear it on Friday. Obviously not on the wards. And I think it's coronation, bringing a coronation cake. I must check that tomorrow. So there are some stuff going on. But then I'm working on Saturday, and I'm like, I could have chosen to try and swap it, but I thought, it's bank holiday weekend. It's really precious for people, so I won't. But I think the husband is regretting me not choosing to swap it, because I can't tell you how many times I told him I'm working this Saturday. And he's like, yeah, I know you are. And people saying, what are you doing this weekend? I go, well, I'm working on Saturday. So, yeah, working on Saturday. However, we will have it on in the dispensary. So it could be a long day, actually, at work, because I'm going to be spending half the time watching the telly. Dispensing, watching the telly. Dealing with patients, watching the telly. But it'll be fun. It will be fine. It will be what it will be. And then we've got it's another bank holiday weekend, so we got Monday off as well. So there could be some Mills and Boone over the weekend. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, just looking at the garden, it's looking mad out there. We've got a lot of bluebells, so we don't want to do anything until the bluebells are kind of died. But it is, I mean, I've seen on Instagram, no mow May. That's. I'm not sure our garden will cope with another month of not mowing. It's like, woo, it's quite wild as it is. But yeah, and the doctor still hasn't phoned. Still waiting. But hey, that was fun. It was nice to sit and chat with you. I hope that was okay for you. I hope it wasn't. I've shown you some books. Did a bit of a spoiler alert with one of them. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's it, BookTube. That's all I've got for you today. This has been lovely, BookTube. Let's do this again.